Piers Morgan has stuck his foot in his mouth yet again. The British host calls the U.S. Constitution, quote, your little book. And they had on Ben Shapiro from Breitbart.com, who whipped out a constitution, and Piers Morgan began to belittle it in his tirade. Part of the transcript is, you come in, you brandish your little book as if I don't know what's in there. My little book, Shapiro said, that's the Constitution of the United States. It's our founding document, Piers. And goes on to later say, why do you need these weapons? Morgan asks. Shapiro says they need them for the prospective possibility of resistance to tyranny, which is not a concern today, maybe not even a concern tomorrow. Morgan says, where do you expect the tyranny to come from? Shapiro says it could come from the United States because governments have gone tyrannical before Piers. He says, do you know how absurd you sound? You sound absurd, Morgan. Clearly, you don't know history. You don't have history on your side. You have no grasp of it. People like George W. Bush have already called the Constitution, quote, just a goddamn piece of paper. And you really have to choose what your little book is going to be, Piers Morgan. Is yours the little red book of Chairman Mao? I am going to go with my little book being the Constitution. And what's wrong with these books being little anyway? I don't want to live by the Patriot Act or the Health Care Act or all the other tyrannical bills that are thousands of pages long that our so-called lawmakers don't even read before voting upon. No, I'll stick with the Constitution and Bill of Rights, thank you, because they were set up to protect individual freedoms, to try to buffer tyrannical government, knowing that maybe not all men, but some men, when put in power, will always go bad because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's why the founders attempted to set up separation of powers, checks and balances, and the final check and balance rest with the people themselves who created the government. The government's a contract, Piers Morgan. It's not our little mother. It's not our God. It wasn't set up that way. And if they go tyrannical, as they did a long time ago, frankly, we need to warn them. We need to warn them again and check them. Look to nature. Look to the history of the founding of America. It's common sense. It's God-given rights. The Constitution and Bill of Rights are put in place to enumerate them. Let's cue up that Gadsden flag. But the right itself comes from God. It comes from nature. Self-defense is a natural action. They can vote away the Second Amendment. They can eradicate the language. But even a rattlesnake will warn you, but don't approach him because he has venom. He will get to you. A hedgehog is a very peaceful creature, and yet he has his own self-defense mechanisms. It's a natural thing to defend yourself, to try to ward off those who would attack you, those who would try to prey on you, and we cannot overlook government because governments are not our friends. We know that people always aspire towards power. That's why they tried to set up limited government. Just look at that footage. Cute little hedgehog, but don't mess with him. He's got spikes, and we need to send that message here in America, too. That's why the founders established the Gadsden flag as a symbol of the revolution, said, we're not going to go after you. We're not going to do anything. But if you come tread on us, don't tread on us because we have venom. We're going to shake our rattle and warn you not to come mess with this. That's what the Second Amendment is. It's a warning. Don't come tread on me. But if you do tread on me, yeah, we're waiting for you. And you look more into nature, even the amoeba, even the little single-celled organisms have flagellas. They have their own means of self-defense, their own means of capturing prey. Again, it's natural. It's a God-given mechanism. It's natural for creatures to use whatever they can to try to defend themselves. And us as humans have the ability to use tools and apply them. Let's keep going with that amoeba footage because you see that Feinstein, Obama, Biden, they want us to be lower than amoebas. They want us to give up our self-defense and just lay down to government and whatever's done to us, let's just take it. Let's not even try to defend ourselves, not even try to run away as other single-celled organisms would do if they didn't have the superior weapons. No, just sit there and take it. That's the message from these globalists. You remember Bill Clinton back in 1994 said our rights as Americans were radical. It was this radical experiment, and basically we have to rein in government and take reasonable measures like gun control.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.